So this was my first United States Strongman Nationals finals at 165. This was held in Westchester. The first event was the Circus Dumbbell. In training, I only really practiced with a dumbbell with a 2-inch handle. This was a big dog dumbbell. It's a little bit more difficult, and by a little bit, I mean a lot bit more difficult. I was putting up 140 no problem in training, but because of the extra thick handle, it made it a little bit more difficult to get that thing stable overhead. It kind of wanted to fall out of my hand. Looking back at this video, I actually kind of learned a lot. I never really practiced multiple repetitions from the rack position. Is something I probably should have practiced, because there was a few missed reps. I could have brought it back down to my shoulder, repositioned, and repressed. But instead, I actually brought it all the way down to the ground, tapped it off the ground, and brought it back up. The next event was the card deadlift, which honestly I was just looking to get one repetition on. This was really, really heavy. It just exceeded my maximum strength capacity, to be honest. I'm not a strong deadlifter, and that's something that I've always really worked on. This year was the first year I was able to pull over 400 pounds for multiple repetitions. This next event was my best event. I took a little chance here by actually trying to wobble the tire a little bit. I noticed some people were getting 4 flips and bringing it really close to the line. I was hoping that I was only have to flip it 3 times, but that was a chance I was willing to take. But the sled drag was actually the hardest part of it. A lot of people were having trouble with it, but I breezed through it because I really trained hard on the sled drags. Next one, as you can see, it's pretty crowded over here, so I just highlighted myself. There's a hand-over-hand truck pull. My strategy coming into it was to keep all the slack out, which if you can see some people, they grab it low and then they yank. They grab it low, then they yanked. So I took a different approach. I wanted to keep a nice, smooth pull going to keep that momentum going. The truck didn't move as fast as I wanted it to, but it did move a fair amount of distance. I did fairly well in this event. I placed 5th place in this event. It was a thick rope, which made it much more difficult, but I was happy overall with my performance on that. The last event was stones, and again, it was pretty crowded, so I highlighted myself there wearing the green. I was looking to hit at least 2 stones. I wanted to get 3 stones. You see how easy that first one went up. This second stone I had a pretty good problem with. It was a really poorly made stone. It was very crumbly and it was falling apart. I should have just dropped the stone right there and then when it didn't go over. That took a lot of energy out of me. So I repositioned it, re-gripped, and the second attempt was much easier. In training, I was hitting 335 for a few singles. This next stone was a 335 stone. At this point, I was pretty gassed. Theoretically, I already had 3 stones that I've done before I even walked and got this last one. But I made it a good effort, but I just didn't have anything left in the tank. Overall, I finished 5th place out of 10 competitors. I'm okay with that, but for the future, definitely need to get my deadlift up and would like to place.